Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Another short video for you. And I thought Saturday's racing in the UK seems to have fallen apart. Lots of meetings going foul of the weather. But one place they will be racing is at Auteuil. And if you haven't seen this card already, you need to get stuck into it because Est Francais is making his comeback in preparation for his run at the Grand Steeplechase de Paris next month. As you can see, he's over my right shoulder. He's one of my favourite horses. And I think it's really important that we just go through this race tomorrow and look at what he's up against. I'll share my screen with you just so we can have a quick look at the five runners going to post. Six were declared, but they've already decided this race isn't for Jasmine Manouche. He's a non-runner. Est Francais, with an official rating of 76 kilos, would be 152 in the UK. I think we can probably agree that he ran to more than 152 when winning the Kauto Star at Kempton in December. That form's obviously very strong. He's won twice around Auteuil over fences already. Everything points to him having a bit of a penalty kick here. Now, at the weights, this isn't as much of a foregone conclusion as you'd imagine. He's rated 76 kilos. His stablemate Gallipoli is rated 70.5. So Gallipoli at these weights is technically only half a kilo wrong. Is that enough to think that Gallipoli with fitness on his side would beat Est Francais? Well, no, I don't think so. I think Est Francais in reality is probably at least 10 pounds better than Gallipoli as a horse. The other thing that I think would be against Gallipoli, he's a son of Glen Eagles. You wouldn't necessarily associate him with being a staying chaser, but they do like to ride him quite positively. Both his runs so far this season, he's finished second in 2 Grade 3s. He's been quite aggressively ridden. He hasn't quite lasted home. He got beat by Kauto Star Novices last time. Nothing wrong with that at all. That horse is a very fine horse. And he was a long way clear of the rest. But Est Francais has such a high cruising speed, you'd be quite concerned that if Gallipoli decided to go with him, he may pay for that in the closing stages, and I think there'll be enough of a gap between them. Of the others, Coral de Belair, I think at this stage, rated only 61 kilos. I just don't think that horse is good enough, but he's well placed, should pick up some prize money. And don't forget here, if you finish in the first 5, there's at least 13 grand on offer. It's a real shame that perhaps some other connections haven't looked at this as an option. U2 Glass is a fantastic horse for Daniela Mallet, but all of his best form comes at Pau down in the south. He was beaten last time. I don't really think Auteuil is his track. I don't think it suits his style. So I'm quite happy to take him on. I think if you really wanted to have a bet in this race, and I don't think I'm going to, but if you were, then Est Francais to beat Grandiose as the exacta looks the safest way to play this. Grandiose is a very nice 8-year-old trained by Louisa Carberry. He hasn't won a race since 2022, but he's been ultra consistent, running very well at a high level. Last season, he spent all of his time in these Grade 2 and Grade 3s. He was second in the Grade 1 back here in November, and his run last time wasn't devoid of promise. He's got some work to do with Gallipoli in order to close the gap, but he's shaped like a horse who just needed the outing, stayed on at one pace after the second last. I think he's going to get a quieter ride than Gallipoli, and I think that will make him the most likely horse to finish second. Now, Est Francais is a different class to everything in this field. In fact, in reality, in French steeplechasing, he's a different class. One of the downsides to this fantastic breeding program for National Hunt horses that the French have is that so many 3, 4, and sometimes 5-year-olds are sold to the UK and Ireland that by the time we get to open company, the pool is pretty shallow. And I think it's very hard to imagine too many horses being able to live with Est Francais' cruising speed. For that reason, particularly at this trip, I think he's fairly bomb-proof, and it'll be a great surprise to me if James Reevely does anything else other than just bounce out in front and win. Is he likely then to go on and win the Grand Steeplechase de Paris? Well, yes. Whatever runs for the UK and Ireland we've seen in recent years, they just don't handle the switch of track to Auteuil. Be very surprised if any of our runners are really able to land a blow. And of those amongst the French horses, it's really hard to see what there is that's in the same league. Last year's winner, Rosario Baron, ran to a Racing Post rating of 160 to win the Grand Steeplechase de Paris. Est Francais has already gone past that at Kempton. Auteuil really suits his style. I think he's miles better than that. Selgem missed his recent comeback when the meeting was abandoned at Royan. I can't see anything in this division that would worry him. Possibly Kauto Star Novices, who won last time beating Gallipoli, but again, he's got a lot to find. Tomorrow is a penalty kick, and sometimes you just watch a horse race and think, it's wonderful just to be able to watch this animal. He is an absolute superstar. The long-term plan they've spoken about already is the King George at Kempton in December. French targets first of all, and the Grand Steeplechase de Paris. But this is a good starting point for him in the Prix Murat. I expect him to win. But as I said, if you did want to look for a bit of value, maybe Grandiose for the forecast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope that's given you a good guide to Est Francais run tomorrow. The race goes off at 1:15 UK time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content, and I'll be back with you shortly.